Hey guys, Josh from soccerreviewsforyou.com, bringing you my review plus on-feet video of the Adidas A17 Plus PureControl in the latest Blue Blast colorway. Now, of course, this being a new colorway of the PureControl, you're probably wondering what version of the PureControl are we actually getting. The first one featured a full prime knit upper. The second version, the checkered black pack, that featured prime knit at the toe and control skin for the rest of the upper. This is exactly like that, and that's what I would anticipate all future colorways of the PureControl being. The first red limit pack release, I think, is somewhat of an anomaly. I think it was a mistake from Adidas. It wasn't necessarily supposed to come out like that, but it did for whatever reason. Just saying that you can expect future colorways of the PureControl to be this upper variation, at least for this generation, the 17 Plus PureControl model. Now, of course, in today's video, we're going to be going over all the details on the shoe, tech specs, the way they fit and feel on feet, and of course, just all the technical information that you should know about if you're interested in buying a pair of these for yourself. So if you want to learn more, stick around, watch the entire video. If you're interested in a pair of these for yourself, you can go ahead and check out the little pop-up on screen or the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. Now, of course, being that this is a $300 top-end model from Adidas, they include a couple of extras that are exclusive to the PureControl actually. You get a string bag with the shoes, which is always nice. They include an extra set of regular foam insoles to go along with the Boost foam ones already inside of the shoes, which are of course removable. And they also include a shoe horn that just helps you to get the shoes on. You don't necessarily have to use it, but again, it is a nice little extra included with the shoes. Now, as far as the colorway itself is concerned, I actually like it. I wasn't a big fan with the online pictures, but now that I have it in my hands, it's actually pretty cool. The combination of blue and black with a little bit of kind of a pink accent color looks quite good in person. The blue at the toe has kind of a semi-metallic look to it. It's almost like a matte chrome, if that makes any sense, which just looks really, really good. It shows off the texturing of the prime knit at the toe. You get a little bit of a blue detail there in the exposed kind of textile aspects of the control skin part of the upper. Obviously, the fused over pieces are solid black with some blue accents in the ace and control skin branding. And then of course you get the pink accents with the Adidas logo there on the front, the PureControl and Adidas branding there on the back, the outline for the actual Adidas stripes that are actually kind of a metallic chrome, very, very shiny mirrored finish within the actual stripe itself. And then the sole plate, as you guys can see, is a combination of two different shiny colors. You have black at the heel, which transitions into like a blue chrome with, of course, the Boost foam clear window through the middle. Now that is a wearable finish, not the clear window, but the actual colors around the edges. It does come with a warning sticker letting you know that that finish will wear off over time, but obviously isn't going to impact the performance of the shoe. And all honestly, it's not something that I think is going to be that noticeable in regards to looks either. So overall, much better looking in person than I was honestly anticipating, but let me know what you guys think of the look down below in the comment section. Now, in regards to the overall tech specs and performance aspect of this particular shoe, I'm gonna go over that right now, but if you guys do want a little bit more information, you wanna see the shoes in action, and you kinda wanna get a better idea of the experience of wearing the shoe, I'll leave a little pop-up on screen to my playtest video of the A17 Plus PureControl. You can go ahead and check it out if you haven't seen it already. Now, with the upper of this shoe, you get a combination of prime knit at the toe and control skin for the rest of the upper. So control skin makes up 2/3 of the shoe. You get the prime knit at the toe, which is soft, it's flexible, does have that sock-like feel to a certain extent, but there are layers on the inside. And the touch on the ball is thin, but not overly thin. I wouldn't necessarily say that this shoe offers a barefoot feel. Of course, the main reason why you would buy the PureControl is for the sake of the laceless system on the shoe. It does not have laces. Instead, you have a combination of features that are designed to hold your foot in place. Does it do it effectively? To a certain extent, yes, but there are flaws because of the laceless design, mainly in regards to lockdown, general responsiveness, and because of the laceless system, you lose out on any kind of adjustability. So this is one of those shoes that you really have to try on to really understand as to whether or not it's going to fit you properly. If you put them on and they don't feel right, it's probably best to stay away. But if you put them on and you like how they feel, maybe give them a go. So as far as how this laceless system works, basically you have this control skin material for the main 2/3 of the shoe, which is really where you're gonna have all the lockdown for your foot, where laces would normally be. The priming at the toe is there more so for touch, doesn't really do anything in regards to lockdown. So you can see where it transitions from prime knit to control skin, there's actually a stitched seam, and then they fuse over top of it, so it's a little bit more seamless looking. Not a seam that you actually feel when you're wearing the shoe, which is quite nice. And then you have this control skin material, which is actually an elasticated textile at its base with some polyurethane fused over top, and then some synthetic suede lining the inside of the shoe for added structure. Now, in order to add extra structure to the shoe along with that lining, you're also going to find the 3 Adidas stripes here on the lateral side. Not only are they there for the sake of branding and having the Adidas name on the shoe, but it's actually a firmer plastic material. You can see it's a little bit thicker than you might expect on a shoe, and it does have flexibility to it, but it's firm for a reason. It's acting as kind of a sidewall reinforcement for the actual upper, and it does a pretty good job of maintaining decent lateral stability, although there will still be movement, again, because of the laceless system, not necessarily offering the best lockdown overall, at least in comparison to a shoe with laces. Now, moving on to the inside, this is probably the most important aspect in regards to fastening your foot in place without the use of laces, and that is the internal tech fit system, which is basically an elasticated microfiber that I can't really show you all that well, but if you can imagine where my hand is, kind of wrapping your foot on the inside, that is what's holding your foot in place. That's what's providing this lockdown, this internal kind of microfiber enclosure. It is elasticated, so when you put it on, it will have a snug fit. Again, it really depends on the shape and general size of your foot in terms of how it's going to wrap your foot specifically, but you'll find that it does, in general, hold your foot down pretty effectively as long as you have the right size. The issue that I have with this is that once you start doing more intense movements, because it is an elasticated material, it will stretch if the movement is strong enough or quick enough. It doesn't have the ability to be completely locked in place like when you tie a knot in your laces. Everything is held no matter how much force is applied. You're not going to apply enough force to actually snap laces, but with this, like I said, that internal tech fit material is going to stretch on you, and that is going to cause some form of movement on the inside of the shoe. That, again, to me is kind of the major downside of this particular model, and in my playtest video I explain as to why I'm not really a big fan of this shoe because of that particular aspect. Now, externally, as far as reinforcement is concerned, aside from the Adidas stripes, you can see that there is a fused part going across the top where there is actually a stitch covered up. That does eliminate some stretch across the top of the foot, which is definitely nice. But in regards to just touch overall, the shoe is thin, but not overly thin feeling, if that makes any sense. If you hold the shoe in your hand and you just kind of mush it around, it feels like it would be on the thinner side, but the touch that it provides, I would say, is trending towards thin, but not necessarily a barefoot feel. What I really like about this control skin upper versus the full prime knit variations of the PureControl that we've seen is that this does seem to fit a little bit more closely to your foot, and it just feels a little bit less bulky in general. And of course, on the upper, you're going to get the non-stop grip dots as well over top of that polyurethane base, something that is a little bit different from the checkered black pack one that I showed not too long ago on the channel. The reason that didn't have non-stop grip though was down to the texturing and the general look of the shoe. Will this particular feature that's on this shoe that's not on the other version offer any kind of performance benefit? It is a wet control element, but in my opinion, really offers no performance benefit whatsoever. It's more of a gimmicky feature, if anything at all. Moving on to the collar area, the rear of the shoe, you can see it does have what they call their prime cut collar. Now, this is kind of a mid-cut design. It's fairly low cut for the most part, although you do have some extra reinforcement down the back. That's not a hard plastic, but it is a firmer material in general, which you will notice during the break-in process, but after a few hours in the shoe, it's something that I found to be decently normal feeling. It didn't really bother me all that much. And for the most part, I would say that this is a more comfortable shoe overall in terms of just jogging around when compared to the original variation of the PureControl. But again, upon more intense movements, that's where my issues really came to be something that I just couldn't live with this particular model. Now, Internally, you're going to find some interesting stuff. There is a synthetic suede liner on the inside with a decent amount of padding, and what you're going to find is that, again, depending on the shape of your foot and just the way that it fits you specifically, you can find that it will be a very kind of pressured feel against your heel, where it almost feels like it's squeezing your heel. And they put so much padding there, not just for the sake of comfort, but to actually help hold your heel in place. So it's really, really important, again, that you get the right size, because if they are too big, you're going to have a hard time getting the proper fit, and heel slippage and just general lockdown is going to be even more of an issue for you. Now, internally, as far as an insole is concerned, you do get something that is advertised as being particularly special on this shoe, and you're also going to see some of that special feature there on the bottom through the clear window in the sole plate. I'll remove the insole and you guys can have a look at it, but essentially what you're going to find is Adidas's signature Boost foam. It's got a synthetic suede liner on top, and then the entire insole is made up of these little Boost foam capsules that are, of course, all fused together. Something you see a lot from the Adidas running line at the moment. You see it in a lot of their performance sneakers for the most part. Does it actually feel particularly special in this shoe? No. Honestly, it feels like a regular set of insoles. And internally even, you guys can see it right here, there is another layer of Boost foam sitting on the base of the sole plate. So between the insole and the base of the sole plate, you have 6 millimeters total of Boost foam, which unfortunately just isn't enough to really provide the Boost underfoot cushioning sensation that you might get from a pair of running shoes. This just feels like a regular pair of insoles. So that is, like I said, kind of a cool feature. It's interesting that they tried to implement it in an actual soccer shoe, but the end result is something that I would say is pretty unspectacular. Something that is different though on this particular pair versus the other pairs that I've had is that you can see that those little black lines right there on top of that Boost foam layer on top of the sole plate, those are actually rubberized lines that are designed to actually grip the underside of the insole to prevent it from sliding around. I personally didn't have any issues with the insole sliding around with wearing the first two versions of the PureControl, the 17 Plus model, so it's not something that I think is, again, going to have a big impact on the overall performance, but I think it is something that makes a lot of sense, and it's cool that they did implement some kind of a change in this particular colorway. Not sure if it'll be on future ones, but it's something that, like I said, I do have on this particular pair. Moving on to the sole plate and stud pattern. This, of course, does feature a sprint frame construction, which you're going to find pretty much across all the current top-end Adidas models. External heel counter attached to a sole plate. Sole plate itself has some decent thickness to it. I would say it's a little bit thicker than what you'll find on the Messi and X line, but still has decent flexibility, a little bit stiff at first, but you get used to that pretty quickly, and it does soften up significantly as well. And then, of course, you get your FG-AG stud pattern, which, again, same across the board pretty much for the entire Adidas brand as far as the layout is concerned. Works really well on firm natural grass. Not, in my opinion, a true AG stud pattern, but it does get the job done. And of course, in regards to durability, it is also designed to hold up on artificial grass, which is a pretty important feature for a lot of people who only want to buy one pair of shoes, but play on both natural and artificial playing surfaces. The stud pattern gets the job done. It's nothing phenomenal, but it works, and that's really all you can ask for most of these products. As far as weight is concerned, this particular pair, for whatever reason, weighed in at 9.1 ounces, which is heavier than I was expecting them to be just based on the black checkered pack version, or the checkered black pack version of the shoe, which weighed in at about 8.4 ounces. So I'm not sure why this one weighed in a little bit more. It's a size 9 US, but for whatever reason, this one weighed almost a full ounce more than the previous colorway. Is it heavy? Absolutely not. Is the PureControl a light shoe in general? Not necessarily, but again, I think most people are buying this shoe for the sake of the laceless system. So not a super light shoe, but I think most people knew that already. Not heavy. That's really my only criticism there. I don't have anything particularly special to say in regards to the weight itself. How do they fit though? That's something that's obviously very interesting with this particular shoe, being that it is laceless. So I'm not going to use a shoe horn. I just generally don't use it with these shoes. So I'll put them on. I'll show you how I do it. What I like to do is put one finger in my left hand in this front lace loop. That is actually, it's not a lace loop actually, this loop that's attached to the internal TechFit system. And then I put my other index finger in the actual loop here at the back of the heel, and then just kind of pull my foot in. It's a little bit difficult here, easier when you're sitting down, but I'll do my best to get this on camera. So you get your foot basically halfway in the shoe, and then from there you want to grab those two lace loops and just push your foot in. You want to really make sure that you're not stepping on this back piece, because if you do step on that enough times, it's possible that you could bend it inwards, and you're going to have some discomfort from just the shoe being bent the wrong way and kind of having material digging into the back of your heel. So again, one more time, kind of get your foot halfway through. Do that. Oh, made a really big noise there. I don't know what that was. Nonetheless, from here, basically the only adjustment you can do is just pulling on this loop here attached to the TechFit system just to smooth it out, make sure there's no bunches there. But that's pretty much all you can do. From here, it's just a matter of wearing the shoes. So again, depending on the shape of your foot, these will fit you differently. It's one of those things that you have to try on to really understand the way they feel, and depending on how they fit you specifically, it's really upon your own judgment to decide as to whether or not that this is the right fit, this is the right style of shoe that you want. If you like how they feel, if you feel like it's going to perform up to the standards that you're looking for, because obviously with this shoe, you're going to be spending upwards of $300 on a single pair, which is that top end price point. It'll buy you pretty much anything. So for me, I'm personally not crazy about this laceless system, but if you like it, if you try them on and you like the way they feel, give them a go. I know a lot of people do like them. It's just not my cup of tea. In regards to the overall width of the shoe, they have some decent width to them. I wouldn't say that this is a narrow or particularly tight fitting shoe, but that is also kind of one of the flaws in that it doesn't really fit me tight enough. So again, really down to the personal shape of your foot and the way the shoe fits you specifically. In regards to sizing, I would say they run true to size. I'm wearing my usual size 9 US here, and the fit and the length is pretty much perfect. So if you're looking to order a pair of these, I would strongly recommend going true to size. The one thing that I will say though, is that in regards to sizing, this is not a shoe that you want to buy with a lot of extra growing room. If you buy these too big, you're going to have major issues with the fit. At least if you buy a shoe with laces too big, you can tighten the laces pretty significantly and have your foot be fairly secure inside of the shoe. But in order for this laceless system to work, it really does have to have that one-to-one really snug fit inside the shoe. So if they're too big, you don't get that fit and you're gonna run into some major issues. But that is pretty much it, guys, for my review of the Blue Blast Adidas A17 Plus PureControl. Hopefully you found this review helpful. If you did, be sure to support it with a like. If you are interested in a pair of these for yourself, there'll be a little eye in the corner of the screen, or you can click the first link down below in the description. That'll take you to the review page on my website where you'll find buy it now links with exclusive SR4U coupon codes where you'll be able to pick these up below their normal $300 retail price. If you have any questions regarding this shoe, leave them down below in the comments and I definitely will get an answer out to you. Subscribe if you haven't already for daily videos on all the latest and greatest soccer gear. You can find all of my social media information linked down below in the description as well. And other than that, guys, hope you enjoyed today's video. And as always, thanks for watching.